Sri Sri ANANDAMAYI Ma was one of the greatest spiritual luminaries of our time. To many, she was joy, peace, and compassion incarnate. To many a forlorn and dejected heart, Ma's benign presence and silent communication provided solace, purpose, and direction to life. All felt that she was truly a divine mother, full of bliss, and that she was the very embodiment of the divine. She radiated spiritual ecstasy from her very birth.
ANANDAMAYI Ma was a great saint of India. She used to help to many people, whether they are poor, whether they are rich, whatever problems they are having, they used to come and tell to Ma. She, in one or the other way, tried to solve their problems and try to give whatever she can. This is a satsang room. Here Ma used to sit here. On this particular bed she used to sit, or she used to sleep and take a good night's sleep on this bed. This is Ma's garden. As you can see, it's totally full of greenery. Whenever at the time of morning or at the time of evening, she used to take a good night's walk here, and she followed by a good night's company.
In your interviews with devotees of Ma, you may have noticed that when you ask a devotee of Ma, who was Ma, many times we're just quiet or tongue-tied, because who can say who Ma was? We only know what we know of Ma through her grace. And that's the only way we even know who or what she was, in the little small amount that we do know. People ask her, who are you, Ma, through the years. And she would give, sometimes she would just say, I'm your little girl, or I am whatever you think I am.
I personally had no idea who she was. And as I said, that I went as if I was going to my grandmother's place.
We met ANANDAMAYI Ma so many times. I was teenager, so, you know, but I just went there and, okay Ma, how are you Ma? Ma kemon acho? We speak in Bengali, right? Ma, ANANDAMAYI Ma and others is different only because ANANDAMAYI Ma was so simple, like a my own Ma.
She was a real divine universal mother on this planet.
With us, she was like a personal person, like an ordinary people, but she was over and above that.
What you perceive of me is what I am. This is what Ma would say. But she would never reveal herself. But at times, you would get glimpses of Ma, the divinity in Ma. She would just show it to you, reveal it to you for a brief second, and you know exactly what Ma was.
My mother, who's still alive and who's 96, was a greatest devotee of Ma ANANDAMAYI, and I think you should meet her.
ANANDAMAYI Ma was very beautiful, wonderful person. As a person, she was wonderful. Yes, we should all learn a lot of things from her. Sing also very well.
She has touched the lives of so many people around the world.
She never had a selfish motive. I mean, she was the most selfless person I can ever imagine.
They don't even want to know, if you ask me honestly, as to who she was and what she was trying to say. Her mere presence was good enough.
Anandamayi Ma, she was born in Bangladesh, East Bengal, in a place called, that is called Khore, Khore near Dhaka, and not a very pious Brahmin family.
Ma was born into a very, very poor family in Dhaka, in Bangladesh. A few days after Ma was born, a great rishi, a saint, a great sage walked into their little home and looked into the cot and said, "Today you see this little baby, but this is the mother of the world."
Even as a baby, everyone came from the village just to see this remarkable, shining little baby. When she became a young girl, they called her Ranga Didi, the colorful sister. They say when she went to the ghats, everyone would just be amazed just to see her. They were just attracted by seeing her. This is another attribute of Ma that was from her very first moment to the last of her life, with this power of divine attraction. Her whole life was motivated by the needs, the desires, necessities, the longings of others. So even as a little girl, she was always serving, she was always doing everything.
She grew up, she was married to Bholanath, who then became a great disciple of hers because he realized that there was much more to her. She wasn't an ordinary girl.
He saw unusual things. Spontaneously, she used to recite all the mantras. Though she unlettered lady, she never went to school. Suddenly, when she waves her hand, suddenly the plate with the camphor light is to manifest, and flowers used to manifest, and then deity used to manifest, and spontaneously he saw all these things, and husband saw, oh, it's not an ordinary person. So then he fell at her feet and called her Ma. So they did not have any physical contact.
And at that point of time, there was another great gentleman called Bhaiji, who was just an officer, an ordinary officer.
Bhaiji was the one who gave the name Anandamayi Ma to Nirmala Sundari.
But he recognized in her something that was also beyond this consciousness, beyond its ordinary consciousness. And he left everything overnight, wife, family, everything, to follow her into the wilderness. And Ma said, "If you have faith, come with me." Jaya Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Bolo, Jaya Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Bolo, Jaya Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Jaya Ma, Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Jaya Ma, Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Bolo, Jaya Jaya Ma.
She had this beautiful smile, this calm look about herself, her mystic eyes.
Her smile was a very magnetic smile. It used to pull everyone, whoever saw her.
I'll never forget, the many times that, Ma has looked at me or I've looked at Ma. Never forget a single occasion.
My first darshan with Ma, I sat in front of her, and for a long time she just looked directly into my eyes without saying anything. And I realized for the first time someone is actually seeing me. No one has ever seen me before. Everyone just sees the mask on the outside. I myself, I saw my own self for the first time.
We could see Ma sometimes out in the garden, open space. And Ma one thing about her was she was very, 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 very caring. She never gave you the occasion to ever go back unhappy or sad. She would always fulfill you in every manner possible with lot of love, affection and kindness.
Wherever Ma used to go, Ma was like a big giant ball of bliss. The entire area surrounding that ball of bliss would be supercharged with joyful energy.
She used to always give a big smile, her divine smile, which was enough.
Morona, morona mago, morona, morona mago, dhori toma Sri Charone, dhori toma Sri Charone, mamole ma mele na ma, khujile ma tribhubone, morona, morona mago, morona, morona mago.
Yes, with Ma, there was always this wonderful motherly sweetness. She had many different bhavs or manifestations she could appear in, but always there was this wonderful sweetness and an intimacy you felt with Ma. There was a paradox, though. In one way, you felt Ma was the closest thing to you, the dearest thing to you. As you were sitting with her, you felt like you'd known her forever, as I said. At the same time, you felt like she was a million miles away.
She would always have us on her lap and give us a cuddle, and as youngsters she made a big impact on us. We felt that this was the nearest to divinity that we as little children of 7 and 8 could ever really be.
My parents or my grandmother, they used to tell me the stories about the Ma, what all things she has done for my family, so I'm truly devoted to her.
Ma is just like Ma is, cooking khichdi for us. Ma is calling me, Babu, oh, where are you? Just come here. Take your food, and then you play. Ma, like Ma ANANDAMAYI Ma, like my own Ma, like your own Ma. You can feel that way. No difference.
My mother, my earthly mother, was absent, and I was born in Hungary. We came through a revolution, lived in 5 countries. That's kind of the 32nd version of it. I was in India 2 years ago. I went to the Banaras ashram. I was in front of her where she used to give darshan, and there's a big picture of her on a seat. And all I could do was look at ANANDAMAYI Ma's picture, and just without even knowing where it came from, this question came, will you be my mother? Just as I said that, there is this like shower of love that took over me. And it's like she came into me. And this answer out of the blue in my mind, I heard, I will be your mother. And I have to tell you, this was 2 years ago. And I feel like she hasn't left me one day since.
She called me, motioned me to come up on the stage. So I got up and went up to the stage. I prostrated at her feet. I just put my head in her feet. And she took out a garlanded me, and she started petting my head and my back, and that divine touch was so overwhelming. That love was overflowing, it came flood-like, and just opened up all my chakras, all my whatever emotions were pent up inside, and I broke down, I started crying, and I couldn't take that love. It was so immense. I was in another world. It was so beautiful. It's hard to explain in words all those feelings, but they are still with me. They haven't. It's like it feels like it was just happened yesterday.
When we knew that Anandamayi Ma was coming to her little ashram in Ranchi, we were invited to go to that audience or her satsang or whatever. Last time I saw her, Dayamat and her were together. And now this time I got to see her by herself. And I do remember that she had like a bath towel around her neck, and she also had one on her lap, because devotees were going up to her and they were crying and crying, and the towels were absorbing all the tears, and then they were just putting garland and garland and garland over her, and it was the Indian devotees were just so captivated and devotional and caught up in who she was. They knew it was a very devotional, emotional experience that was going on.
There was an incredible joy just to see Ma. You have the word darshan, which means blessing by sight. When you just see someone, you get a blessing. And Ma embodied this, just to have the darshan of Ma, just to see her for a moment.
As a kid, I always wanted to meet Ma, and I always told her that I want to meet you, I want to talk to you, and I want to meet you in person. Once I had this amazing experience when I was sleeping, and something within me said that Ma has come to meet me in our temple. We have a small temple in our home. I went to the temple, and she was actually there. She looked just like I had always imagined her, in a white shawl, and very pleasant. She was smiling, she was glowing, and I was scared. I was laughing, and sometimes I was crying, and she told me that you always ask me to come to see you, so I have come. And she wanted me to hold her hands, but I was too scared to do that. But she still took my fingers in her hand. That is something that even now, if I close my eyes, I can still feel it.
From 1932 to 1982, for 50 years, Ma traveled throughout India non-stop, never staying in one place more than a few days or a few weeks at the most. And it was all prompted just by people's longings in their heart.
I used this car many times from 1970 to 1977. In 1937, Ma took the darshan of Kailash. Ma taken, as per books, 2 months, because that time that road was very difficult.
This trek is a spiritual trek from the Indian point of view. There are batches of people who go, and the trek is to Mount Kailash and the Lake Mansarovar. Mount Kailash is a holy place for Hindus, and I think a lot of the scriptures, when they talk of the sages living in the mountains, they are considered to be living in Mount Kailash, in that area. And so Kailash is a very, very important pilgrimage for Hindus.
He taken the darshan of Kailash and took bath on the lake Manasarovar, and while coming back to return on India at Almora, he left his body, and Ma given samadhi in that place.
So when Anandamayi Ma came to Pune in 1952, she was passing from the south. She had gone on a tour of the religious pilgrimages of South India and was on her way back to North India. But many a times there were so many people who wanted to worship her that it became uncontrollable many a times. But she would wait till the last person. She would satisfy the poorest of the poor.
The peoples gathering around Ma were just to have darshan of Ma, just to look towards her, just to bow to her, because they were getting peace of mind. They were getting their pain in the heart removed.
You see, in every gathering or every sangha or every meeting, there were thousands of people who would come in. And I have personally seen from prime ministers to ministers to secretaries to government officials to sweepers to the gardeners to the common man nobody was ever stopped from reaching up to her. And she always welcomed each one of them. In the same manner she would talk to the high officials, she would speak to somebody like me or an ordinary human being. And for her, everybody was a child of hers.
Jai Jai Mata Anandamayi, Jai Mata Anandamayi, Jai Jai Mata Anandamayi, Jai Mata Anandamayi.
Thousands of people were rushing to see her. Even though thousands of people were gathering, everybody was feeling that Ma has seen her, seen him. Everybody.
The person, when he enters the pandal, he would go and sit and he would feel a ray of light coming from her eyes, acknowledging his presence in that. That happened to me.
Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. 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 Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol.
The nightly satsangs with Ma were periods of great joy. Ma would always be cracking jokes and making everyone laugh, but always using it for instruction.
She had a fantastic sense of humor, yes. She would make even the great masters who were very serious, she would make them also laugh many a times.
जेना बियर बिया आया तो ये এর মধ্যে তুমি চিত্রঙ্গি বাদ্য করে দিলি শোনো চিত্রঙ্গি বাদ্য করে দিলি তারপরে ওইখানকার যিনি কি বাড়ির মালিক তিনি ভাবলো আমার টাকা পয়সা বেশি নাই কাজে বেশি টাকা পয়সা থাকতো তাহলে না জানি এই চিত্রঙ্গি বাদ্যের মধ্যে কি আছে তারপরে আরো সুন্দর হতো
Ma had a very unique laughter. It was right from the bottom of her being, you know, right from like the sound would come right from inside her. It was not an artificial laugh. It was not just, you know, ha ha ha, okay, you know. No, the laughter would start from right deep within and then spread out, you know. That's how her laugh was, yes. They all laughed. In fact, the serious people would try to cover up, muffle their laughter, but the others who had no inhibitions.
माँ का सामने बोलीबाल हो गया দেখছো বাবা কাল আসবে না পরশু আসবে না তারে দিচ্ছ তুমি নিজে বললে আসবে না তারে দিতে বললো আজ এই রেখে দেও তো আসবে তাহলে আসতে হবে মধুরম 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 মধুরাধিপতে রখিলম মধুরম আধরম মধুরম বদনম মধুরম নয়নম মধুরম হসিতম মধুরম হৃদয়ম মধুরম গমনম মধুরম মধুরাধিপতি রখিলম
Always there was some function surrounding Ma. Ma would always be surrounded by God's name the whole day. Some chanting, some meditation, some aarti would be going on.
The songs made a great impact even now on us. Gurudev Gaya Karo Dino Jane Gurudev Daya Karo Dino Jane.
Wow, well done.
In those days, when Ma used to be in Pune, because we were so happy to be with her, we would leave all our work, all our studies, and we would be around Ma from morning till night. We would be doing service in the ashram, looking after the guests that came from all over India, looking after the very important guests, some ministers, some kings, some queens, some ministers. They would all come to seek Ma's blessings. Divine singers would come to sing in front of Ma. Ma keeps saying that the chanting of the Lord's name, the chanting sets in tune certain vibrations, certain cosmic forces which become beneficial to the development of the entire human being.
So when we reached there, we saw Ma was standing outside the hall, and very pleasant appearance. She was clad in white clothes. She was having her hair tied on the top of her head like Lord Shiva, and she was playing holy with people, and she was playing colors. She was throwing colors to people, and I remember at that time she was singing a song. That song was Krishna bole aao aao, Hari bole aao. Krishna bole aao aao, Hari bole aao. Radha Raman bole aao aao aao. Radha Raman bole aao aao aao. She was singing this song with such a pleasant voice. It was really, I was so delighted and thrilled to hear that song. And I remember that while singing this song, she was throwing color on the people. And all the bhaktas, all the people, they were so, I mean, they were blessed. They were in such a state of bliss. They were in a sort of trance, as if the God is standing before them.
What attracted me most in Ma was her voice. It was like a beautiful bird singing and humming. It was a bird, a morning bird, you can call it. And she had that lovely lilt in her voice. But it was Ma's voice which could carry the evening through.
Hey Bhagavan, Hey Bhagavan, Hey Bhagavan, Hey Bhagavan, Hey
It was part of a kind of a ritual where ANANDAMAYI would, just like a mother, she said, let's go, it's time for bed, you know. And all the devotees would kind of plead with her, you know, can we please have kirtan? No, too late, time to go to bed. And eventually the devotees would prevail and she would agree, and then it just started going. Ma would lead the chants, and so it was call and response format.
Around Ma, so many miracles took place every day, but they weren't as though she was performing these miracles. They just happened naturally.
माँ तो कहते, माँ तो कोई ये सब मिरेकल्स में ज़्यादा मानती नहीं थी. माँ इसको हो जाता है, किसी के लिए कोई करुणा हो गई, किसके लिए क्या स्वयं अहित हो गया, ये हो जाती थी.
There's so many miraculous stories connected with Ma, but the thing is, when you were with Ma, this division between the natural and the supernatural just vanished, because Ma was just so supernatural in her being that it wouldn't surprise you whatever she did.
One day, after the satsang, people went to their places. We were cleaning the place, etc. Ma was lying on her chauki bed. She asked, what is the tithi? Swamiji says that today is Trayodashi. After hearing this, as she was lying on the bed, immediately she woke up, sat straight, and seeing towards the sky, she exclaimed, Trayodashi Sarva Siddhi. Immediately a transformation was in her everything. From to hairs. Everything was complete red, red, red. Hairs also, dress also, everything complete red. I was very much astonished to see that. Spontaneously, some mantras were flowing from her mouth. That was also a very astonishing experience.
We were to go to this place called Nimish Aranya on the banks of a river. We were scheduled to turn up there and start a spiritual practice, a retreat. So a telegram came. Do not proceed. The area of encampment is flooded, totally flooded. There's no way I can set up camp. What Mother said then was, would you please get me a glass of water? Quite an innocuous remark. So one of the young ladies got her a glass of water, on a tray or something. So she picked up the glass and she said, the way I'm drinking this glass of water, if the Lord so wishes, he or she could drink up, the flood waters of this river. Now, she used to talk in this enigmatic, mysterious way in any case, so I didn't pay any attention. Soon after there came a call saying, the water has receded, I think I can put up the camp, please arrive tomorrow as scheduled. A few hundred of us, took buses and trains and turned up there. And I still hadn't put two and two together. The next day's papers had it on, as a headline, mysteriously the waters have receded.
My aunt was sitting with they were all at the ashram one day, and Ma was very quiet, and there was this little child that had gone out to play. And suddenly Ma shouted and said, water, water. So my aunt and all the other didis in the ashram, they were quite frantic. They rushed out and got Ma water to drink. And then Ma's sari was totally drenched. Ma was drenched as though she'd been in a pool or whatever. And Ma said, water, water. And a few minutes later, this little child came running to Ma's ashram and pointed to Ma and said, she just saved me. She'd fallen into a well, and Ma had come and pulled her out. And all along, Ma was sitting there and saying, water, water.
In January 1947, Sri Ma organized the Savitri Yagya at Varanasi, which lasted for 3 years in the midst of communal conflicts. The Yagya was initiated by Sri Ma not only for the good of India, but for the humankind as a total entity. And we are all aware of that within the period of time of the Yagyas, how India's attainment of independence and consequent republican status changed the pattern of human history from imperialism towards democracy.
In the Varanasi ashram, for 3 years, there was an unbroken havan or fire sacrifice with the Gayatri mantra just for the purpose of Vishwa Kalyan, that's universal blessing. And undoubtedly, this at this time gave stability to the world as it was recovering from the World War, and in these turbulent times when India was trying to gain independence, it obviously had a profound effect on the whole human race.
Ma has impressed nearly all the political leaders of that age. And about Indira Gandhi, she was looking towards mother as her own mother.
And because whoever came in Ma's company started feeling the joy emanating from her, Jawaharlal Nehru used to come to her because his wife Kamala Nehru was very devoted to Ma.
She never changed her tone. It was the same tone she maintained whether she was speaking to late Mrs. Gandhi or she was speaking to me.
Ma loves all. We cannot specify in such a way that Ma loves me better than you. She loves all.
One very great learned man, he went to see her. Then he put certain questions from her. She spontaneously answered. And then he went back, collected all the professors of that university, they took the leave, and then they went to her. For 3 hours they grilled her, putting questions after questions. Spontaneously she answered all the questions. And then they were simply amazed because they exhausted in all their questions, but throughout she ever remained as fresh as a flower. And then they addressed, she was not a ordinary person, she was ANANDAMAYI Ma.
Whenever Ma spoke, she would speak in very simple Hindi or Bangla and would make it easier to comprehend, even if it was full of deeper meanings.
तो मैंने सब पूछा क्या होता है क्या नहीं क्या नहीं, तो मैंने कुछ थोड़ा इंगित कर दिया। माँ का एक पुस्तक लिया तो उसके बाद हमको अंदर से बहुत होने लगा कि ये तो इसको तो क्या मैं मिला था तभी मगर अभी उसको माँ के साथ एक मुलाकात होनी चाहिए।
Whenever I saw Ma, I did not feel that I was meeting individual, a Vyakti. The moment I used to say I am standing before divine consciousness, so I used to fall flat and do Dirgha Danda, Sastanga Namaskar, हाथ भी ये करके कहाँ भी हो, रेलवे स्टेशन प्लेटफॉर्म में वो आती रही, वो कहीं हरवन आई थी और बाहर आकर के गाड़ी में चढ़ने की अवस्था में थी, मैं वहाँ जाकर के पहुँचा। वही मिट्टी में देखो 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 देखो, हाँ बोलते देखो देखो, बाबा जी उठो 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 उठो, क्या कर रहे हो क्या कर रहे हो, ऐसा बोलते थे। और मैं उसका कुछ नहीं हुआ, कुछ नहीं हुआ, आपके चरण के आशीर्वाद से हमेशा आसपास में देखो देखो बाबा क्या बोलते हैं।
While Ma is there are no worries. This is your experience, this is my experience, this is the experience of everybody who had the chance to be with Mother even for a second. Ma is there, why worry?
Jai Jai Mata Anandamayi Jai Mata Anandamayi 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 Jai
There is a French Swami here who came as a young man in India. He was a doctor, a psychiatrist. He came, he was in his early 30s, maybe late 20s, and he met Ma and never went back to France. And he's still here. He's about 95 years old now and still very sharp, frail, but very, very sharp mind, and still adores Ma.
See, then the first sight, it was something strange in me. Although I intended to go immediately, I thought, let me stay a little more. Something strange I felt. But what, I said, suppose you have a keg full of powder, gunpowder. Somebody throw a match in it. Nothing happened in the moment, but you know something strong is going to happen. So I felt something going to happen. So I was saying Clark Hotel. You know where's the Clark Hotel? So I went to the Clark Hotel after I met Ma. I stood at the kirtan with this time a wonderful kirtan. And when I was in Clark Hotel, so the cake power exploded. Oh, it was something unimaginable, you see? Some unearthly bliss, you see? A bliss I've never felt in my life. Some bliss, unearthly bliss.
Atmananda was there for more than 50 years. That was her dream, that she would live for 50 years with Ma, and she did. She lived for longer than that with Ma. I think she passed 3 years after Ma did.
I met Ma here. I didn't know about her in Europe. I have never been out of India for 46 years. So I thought, well, she looks very beautiful, but I was very skeptical.
You were skeptical?
Yes.
You were critical?
I was critical
But
by
when did
nature. I've seen you before in Amorma. I said, yes, I remember you.
She remembered you?
Yeah, of course. Ma remembers everything.
Yes.
I found that she, by a few words, exploded my problem, you see.
I see.
Yeah. I asked her something and...
You were looking for a solution to a problem?
Yes, yes, I was. And she just... it was so simple that I thought, how is it that I didn't find it out for myself? I started doing translation of Ma's words, you see. And
From Bengali to English?
Yes, I learned Bengali specially for that. That is a Ma's miracle at that age, you know, to learn.
How old are you now?
I'm 77.
First of all, the people who would come to Ma were the saints of this country.
नीमकरोली बाबा को आनंदमाई जो थी इज्जत करती थी, हमेशा उनके लिए अपनी गद्दी छोड़ती थी, बहुत प्रेम करती थी उनसे.
So when she stayed here in 1960, there was a group of saints who had come with her. That group of saints would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there was a marquee, a pandal, what you call a pandal over here, in which they would play the harmonium, the tabla, and the kartal, and the bell, and they would chant loudly all the names of the Lord.
My name is Kanti Patel. I am a sculptor. This is my studio, and we just enter into our studio. Ma Anandamayi visited this place in 1973. It took me just 1 year, and all the time I was feeling her presence within me. This is Didi Ma statue. Ma Anandamayi came here while I was making in a clay. And she also took some tools, and she was also doing on the clay model.
Didi Ma was another great soul of compassion, another incarnation of compassion. Her face radiated continuously compassion.
Gurupriya Didi.
Gurupriya Didi, of course!
Okay,
she was there. Coconut.
One could see face to face God. Whether one knew it or not, but it was so. Ma came, God appeared in that form, and one could see, one could talk with her, one could get the love, knowledge, everything, direct. There was no medium. This is the greatest available. So you cannot turn your face, you cannot turn your eyes. It's not attraction. माँ थोड़ा भी मूवमेंट करती थी, माँ इतना रस था.
जय माँ भवानी, जय माँ शिवानी, जय जागो धात्री चंडिके. जय माँ भवानी, जय माँ शिवानी, जय जागो धात्री चंडिके.
I'll tell you something. I had 2 American ladies come in here just last month, like you have come. Her name was Marcy and Bonnie. They were 2 sisters. At the age of 12, or 17, she came across this book, Autobiographer Yogi, in Oregon in America. And she says, when I saw Ma's picture in that book, I felt that I know this lady. And from that time, there was an urge in me to where can I find her, where can I find her.
The first time when I visited Anandamayi Ma ashram, I knew who she was because I had read about her in the autobiography of a yogi, and the picture was so powerful. It's as if it was calling to me.
In the orange robe is Yogananda,
who started self-realization, and he brought a lot of people to Ma and included her in his book of saints.
And at the time when I read it, I would say to myself, she's still alive. The autobiography is in print, and I'm reading the book, and she's still in her body.
At that time, some people, like myself and many other people from Europe and America, became attracted to Indian spirituality.
At that time also, I was well aware of the fact that ANANDAMAYI Ma was still living. And her pictures, the pictures that were in the book, just drew me magnetically. And I wanted somehow to meet her.
My mother tells the story that I was very enticed by the flowers on the altar, and I would run up to play with the flowers, and she would run after me to tell me, no, you can't do that, got to come back. And that ANANDAMAYI would stop her and say, no, let her go. And then Ma would take me on her lap.
So she ran to ANANDAMAYI. She was quite far away from me, so I wanted to catch her. So ANANDAMAYI suddenly stopped me, and with her hand, and she says, no, don't touch her, bring her here.
The day I arrived in India for the first time with Dayamata, we flew from Bangkok to Calcutta. I remember when I got off the plane and I walked down the stairs, the first foot I touched the ground, that touched the ground in India, I felt like a current of electric spirituality just shoot up into my body.
When I was living in India with Maharaji, he had a temple in Vrindavan where we used to stay. And ANANDAMAYI Ma had a temple also right around the corner down the road in Vrindavan. And we would go to see her, and there was always so many people there. We'd be able to sit with her outside with her, and it was so beautiful. And she would always sing Jaya Bhagavan, Jaya Bhagavan, Jaya Bhagavan, Jaya Bhagavan, Jaya Bhagavan, over and over and over again. Almost every time I saw her, she sang that. And I never forgot that, and that feeling of sitting with her, singing that. You know, being with somebody who exists only for that love. It's just such an amazing experience.
she could read our thoughts also. Many times I used to go with a problem in my mind, but by the time I reached her, she would say something to another person and that problem would be solved. I said, how come she is telling him when this is my question? It was like that. The question reached her before I could express it to her.
About particular sadhanas, when we were keeping our question before Ma, how to perform this? She was just looking, repeating our question. Yes, so and so. You want to perform? Yes, ma'am. Just she was looking. Immediately, how to do that particular prakriya, sadhana, was arising in my mind. That was my experience for so many times. The guidance we can never find in any book or by any other Mahatma. She was just transferring that.
हमारा मुंह बंद हो गया, जितना प्रश्न पूछना है सब प्रश्न पूछा, एक प्रश्न के लिए भी कोई उत्तर रहा बाकी नहीं रह गया, कोई भी शंका नहीं रह गया, एकदम निर्मल हो गया हमारा विजन और हम इतना आश्चर्यचकित हुआ.
She could see it right through you from inside out. Ma knew exactly what you were thinking. She would in fact reveal your thoughts to you.
I could not keep anything secret from her. So much so, if I tell you an incident of my life which was very secret, but because now I am getting old and I can share it with you, I used to sit in the satsang every evening between 7 and 9 p.m. We would do the satsang with Ma in the Pune Ashram hall. Being a young man, luckily my father was fairly rich and I was also quite a handsome young man. So I used to like to go to meet the girlfriends and the girls. So I used to go to the Pune club. Every Saturday there used to be a movie over there. And when Ma was here, I would not normally go, but you see, I was attracted to one particular girl. So but every evening it was my duty to sit in front of Ma, and after the satsang was over, the maun would get over at 9 o'clock in the evening. So then I used to take the bowl of prasad to Ma. She would bless the prasad, and then I would distribute the prasad in the hall to all the devotees who were there. Now it so happened that it was a particular Saturday on which there was this movie in the Pune club, and I was sure that the girl I liked would come. And I was caught between my emotions and my duty to Ma. My heart was saying, let's go and meet the girl in the club. And my mind was saying that you have to distribute the prasad to in the ashram. So my heart took hold of me and I put on my best clothes. And the movie would start at 7:30 and get over by 9:30 in the night. So I went to the club with my best clothes, and as luck would have it, the girl didn't appear. So I kept looking at my watch, when she'll come. It became 7:30, it became 8 o'clock, it became 8:15. I said, now she's not coming, let me go back to the ashram. So I doubled up on my scooty, on my motorbike, some small motorcycle that I had, and I went to the ashram. Normally I would never dress up in my party clothes and go to Ma. I would wear a very simple dress in front of Divine Mother. But I went and sat in one corner of the ashram, in one corner of the hall, in front of her. And she looked at me and acknowledged me. She didn't call me to give the prasad, and somebody else gave the prasad, because I was hiding in the corner because I was feeling guilty. But she was so blessing me, so blessed. She was so nice, she was so lovely. After the prasad was distributed, she got up and she walked right diagonally across the hall to me, and she said like this to me, "That girl is not in your luck." You see, Ma's face was very seldom serious. She always looked beyond. You could see that she was physically here, but her consciousness was in various places all over. She was super conscious. She was conscious of the ant moving on her clothes, and she was also conscious of a planet maybe billions of miles away. That was the level of her consciousness.
वो कई बार बोलती थी, बाबा कुछ नहीं हो, जो था तो जो आप भी है और ऐसा ही रहेगा. So माने she was timeless. Time had no meaning for her.
कोई अपेक्षा नहीं, कोई आगे का पूर्व संकल्प नहीं. एक बार रायपुर में माँ को किसने पूछा था कि माँ आप अगले जन्म में कहाँ थे? माँ बोले जहाँ थे वही नहीं, बल्कि यहाँ आप जैसे रायपुर में बैठे अभी यहाँ है, ऐसा पहले ऐसे कहाँ का था? तो माँ का जहाँ था वही है. माँ का आगे की नहीं पीछे की नहीं, जो है जहाँ है वही है. वो अपनी माँ की वाणी से मालूम होता है. जो है वही है, जो हो जाए.
जय जय माता आनंदमयी, जय माता आनंदमयी, जय जय माता आनंदमयी, जय माता आनंदमयी, जय जय माता.
Ma's total 24 ashrams in India, but most of them are in northern part and eastern part. But in western India, this is the only ashram. This is Sri Ma ANANDAMAYI Ashram, Bimpura, Chandod. It's a very holy place. All the saints has put their sadhana here. Ma first time came in Gujarat in 1937.
She was going by the boat and she pointed out this tree saying, "This place." Even Ma used to sit under the tree there, and even today people sit down, meditate and do satsang there. So that's the center of our ashram. In 1978 and 79, when Ma used to come here, I remember there were so many times I used to sit in the spot where I'm sitting in front of Ma, which is just 3 feet away. There were times when it would be me and Ma.
Krishna
I am in Ma's Pune ashram, India. As you can see, we are sitting in Ma's own bedroom. This is Ma's bed where she used to rest. When I come here, I feel there are magnetic powers here. Just when you enter the gate of ANANDAMAYI Ma ashram, however worried, however stressed you are, when you put your foot forward on this land, all the worries, all sorrows are just washed out. Whatever is there in your mind, if you cannot tell it to anybody, you can always come to her and express yourselves. You can feel within you that she is listening to each and every word very patiently, and you can find all your answers here.
Still, if you go in Konkan or Pune, it's still there. No matter Ma's body is not there, Ma is there, you know, smiling. You can feel Ma everywhere. Jai Ma!
Actually, so what I would like to mention is that both Nandubain Didiji and Jaiman Didiji, they are one of the oldest and very senior devotees of Ma. Particularly Nandubain Didiji, because from a very young age she has lived with Ma in her ashram and served her. She has spent her whole life just for serving Ma.
फिर माँ को पास गए, फिर माँ को मिले तो माँ ने बोला कि सूखी पत्ती जैसे हवा में उड़ती आती है, ऐसे में आ गई। मतलब माँ कमरे से ऐसे
नहीं, ऐसा हुआ कि माँ ने बोला कि देखो हमारा एक ख्याल है कि मैं नंदू को यहाँ बैठाऊंगी, ऐसे बोला। माँ मुझे आश्रम में लेना चाहते थे। मैं बोला नहीं, मैं नहीं आऊँगी, तुम मेरा बाल काट दोगी।
बहुत बड़ा था।
मेरा बाल इतना लंबा था तो मैं बोला तुम मेरा बाल काट दोगे, तो बोले नहीं तेरा बाल नहीं काटूंगी, तेरा बाल बहुत अच्छा है। मेरा दो बाल का दो चोटी पकड़ के घोड़ा खेलती थी माँ। हमारे माँ को बाल बना रही थी, मेरी माँ ऐसे बैठी थी और माँ भीमपुर आश्रम में माँ बैठी थी मेरी, और माँ यहाँ बैठी, मेरी माँ माताजी का बाल बना रही थी। तो बाल बनाते बनाते माँ यहाँ सो गई, समाधि में चली गई। तो मेरी माँ भी चली गई समाधि में। सारा टाइम माँ तो दौड़ाती थी काम के लिए, बड़े बड़े काम, गेस्ट को खाना खिलाओ, ये करो ये करो ये करो। मतलब माँ भगवान है वो सोचने भी नहीं देती थी। जैसे हम लोग सब एक है, ऐसे ही माँ ने हम लोग के साथ भाव रखा। माँ के जाने बाद लगता है कि हम लोग क्या किया माँ के साथ, माँ को पहचाना भी नहीं।
In the 1976, I saw Ma in Pune ashram, in this ashram.
Now I'm going to recite a song for you in the glory of Ma Anandamayi. Jai Ma Durga, Jai Ma Durga, Durgati Nashini, जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, दुर्गति नाशिनी जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, दुर्गति नाशिनी जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, भव भय हारिणी जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, भव भय हारिणी जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, मोक्ष प्रदायिनी जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, मोक्ष प्रदायिनी जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, जय माँ दुर्गा, प्रेम प्रदायिनी जय माँ दुर्गा, आनंददायिनी जय माँ दुर्गा, ज्ञान प्रदायिनी जय माँ दुर्गा, मोक्ष प्रदायिनी जय माँ दुर्गा।
Towards the end of her life, she was universally known and respected around the world.
Last few years before Ma, passed away, my body, Ma is still with us. She becoming more mono, rather than talk, just kind of a little bit mono. So that actually hard time for me because I like to talk with Ma, and Ma is not talking. You understand what I mean?
No, but still I have one photo. Face to me, and have a connection. When I want something, I ask to the photo. I know, especially foreigner. I know foreigner who get a close connection with Ma just to a photo. The connection is possible.
And if a person keeps Ma's photo respectfully and prays to Ma, you could even say, her mantra, Om Ma, or Om Shri Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, just her name, and really tries to keep Ma in their heart and life. Ma will be there, and Ma will direct one in the right path.
Do I wish I could have met Ma in person? Sure, yeah, it would have been lovely to have met Ma in person. However, I feel as if you can easily meet Ma in person. You may not meet the physical body, but you definitely meet what it is that Ma brought to us all. And that's the embodiment of love and compassion. And that's how we meet Ma.
Even though Ma has left this mundane world about 29 years back, I feel for the first time that somebody is helping me all the time. I feel that.
Ma used to say, this body doesn't go anywhere.
So you just say, Jai Ma, Ma is there. Jai Ma.
Hare
করবার জন্য। আচ্ছা করবো। আমাকে একজন সাধু বলেছে যে আমি তা করি, তাতে তার চক্ষু ভালো আছে। ওই করবো, আপনার যখন বলেছেন করবো। আচ্ছা আমি খুব আরে মাও আমাকে দিয়েছে, গো মাকে দেবো। আচ্ছা মা, আমি যখন গভর্নর না থাকবো তখনও দেবেন আমাকে। আর মাকে দেবো। শুনে, আমি যখন গভর্নর থাকবো না তখনও দেবেন না। যেখানে মা সেখানে গভর্নরের প্রশ্ন আছে, তখন আমি আসবো আপনার মানে আজকে যতক্ষণ ইচ্ছা এসো, আজকে যখন ইচ্ছা, দরজা খোলা মায়ের জন্য যখন ইচ্ছা। আমি আজকে বেশিক্ষণ থাকতে পারি। আমি এখন কাজ হতো ছেড়ে যাচ্ছি, যেতে হবে তো, আমি এখন ফিরে যাচ্ছি।
And in 82 August, Ma left the body.
I went to see her at Dehradun. So when it was forbidden to go in a room, but I went anyhow. So she received me very kindly. So this time also, she took out 4 fruits and she gave it to me. So I went out, I stood at the door, looking at her, and she looked at me very, very long, very long time. And she gave me the impression, with great love, you see, she gave me the impression everything will be all right. So knowing Ma, I know Ma, we knew that she can get right. In a trice she can get right. We knew it. So I came back to the ashram. I told from the medical point of view, it is a last days. But knowing Ma, the impression she gave me, I think she will come back for Durga Puja. I think to people, I thought to people, she will come back, but we waited for Durga Puja. And then we heard, it was a terrible thing hearing. Then I didn't believe it. I thought she made in Samadhi. So it was very, very hard.
Ma used to like 2-3 songs. So one is Morona, Morona Mago. When my father used to sing and she crying, just crying. That means the song, see, I can feel. The song is Ma, don't die. If you die, who will take care of me? I'm your baby, I'm your child, and I'm your little kid. This is the conversation about the little kid, the baby born, and Ma. Oh, Ma Anandamayi Ma just crying and crying. Say, Purna, if you don't mind, can you sing one time? This is the real kirtan. This is the style of kirtan. Morona, Morona Mago. The way, this is the kirtan. Dhori tomar Sri Chorone. Well, I'm touching your feet and keep you here. Don't die, Ma. This is the song. Mamole mamele nama khujile mati bhubone. So Ma, I want you.
My mind even though does not have the reach to understand God's meticulous decisions, but still, due to Ma's grace, I have the firm belief that everything finally is going to be for my good.
Ma is very relevant even today. If you hanker for her, you seek her, Ma will guide you forward.
And still today, she guides us, guides me, and that's how I feel my life purpose is solved.
She's Ma, I mean, our own mother, and she's still that way.
As Ma herself said once, that once you come to this body, as hard as you try, you're never going to be able to leave it. And that is the truth.
I do not know what will the next generation say, but it is our belief. Ma lives always sublime.
Sri